FlossTube, it's Lorna the Ladybird Stitcher. Today is Sunday the 14th of October and I'm here for another update. I wasn't here on Wednesday because it was like there was a lot of thunder and it was too noisy to film. Today is overcast, a little bit wet, so I don't know how the lighting's going to go, but we're going to do our best. I've got some whips to show you, a little bit of haul, some plans and books. So I'll get straight into it. In no particular order, I worked on The Guardians of Notre Dame by Ingleside Imaginarium, and here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. So I have completed all of the border now and I'm completely up to date. I cannot be any more up to date on this one because it is a mystery sale. So the next 2 blocks will be released over the next month and the following month, and then it will be a finish. So really looking forward to getting it done. I think I'm going to finish this into a pillow simply because there's no real, because it's so symmetrical, up and down, sideways, hanging it on a wall, I don't know, it would work. I just think that because you can kind of have it any way and it would still look right, a pillow might make more sense. But I'm no seamstress and hopeless with it. I mean, I can use the sewing machine now, but not very well. So don't hold your breath on that one. This is on 28 count Jobelin in tan. It was just a piece of fabric that I picked up on eBay. Yeah, really enjoying that one, and it's a constant reminder of how quickly the year's going because we're nearly finished the year and there's only 2 blocks to go. Next one I worked on, or in no particular order, but another one I worked on was Heart by Handmade. This one is actually my daughter's project and sometimes she says, come on mum, work on it. Here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here's where it is now. It may go like that, I'm not sure. I think it goes like that. But yeah, it's just an easy one. It's on 14 count white Ada. And it was a kit that my daughter got for her birthday in August. I worked on the Prairie Schooler alphabet. I had the J block done, I think, and I've finished the K block and I've started the L block. So here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. Sorry about the hanging thread. I haven't quite finished that length of thread. I wanted to do two blocks this month because I really want to finish the year at the end of block N, which will go in the middle here, and then that will be slightly more than halfway. And I didn't want this to take any longer than 2 years, so I started it at the beginning of this year, so that will take me, it should take me to the end of next year, but that does mean that a couple of months I will need to do more than 1 block. So when I have time, I'll try to take that on board. So I worked on the K block and I've started working on the L block, not back to back. I finished the K block in the first couple of days of the month, and I started on the L block just on Friday. So yeah, that's on 28 count Nagana 1/1. I pulled out Boy King only for a little while. I didn't get much work on this one. It's by Janlynn. That's what it will look like when it's finished. And here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. here it is now. So I didn't do much, I just worked here and here. I'm hoping to pick this up at the end of the month. I also worked on Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs. This is another favourite. I'm really enjoying this one. And this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. This is on tea-dyed 28 count Lugana. It was originally white, it's now a yellowy creamy colour. I tea-dyed it myself just using chamomile tea. And so happy with this one, it's beautiful. Mainly in Gentle Art sampler threads, and I'm using all of the called for colours in Gentle Art sampler threads. There were 2 colours that were called for in Week Star Works, but I've substituted those for DMC. So yeah, really loving this one. It's so nice to work on. I also pulled out Storykeep Secret Door, and here's what it will look like when it's finished. And here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here's where it is now. This is 1/1 on 25 count Lugana. And this is the start of, well, this is page 3 except for the last 2 columns. So my hopes for this month is to finish, my hopes for this month is to finish the last 2 columns, and then hopefully go back to it next month and finish the last page, the next page here, which is half a page. After that, there are 2 more full-length pages that go here, and then 2 more pages down the bottom that are less than full length, but still pretty substantial. I thought that the next line would be sort of the end, but no. Still a lot more to go on this one, so I don't think she'll be finished by the end of this year, but that's okay. That was originally what I'd hoped for, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. It's just cross stitch. Another one that I pulled out is Spring Queen by Mirabilia, and here's what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here it is now. This is a mystery fabric by Colour Cascades. I think it was a fabric of the month in October last year. And it's a 28 count Lugana. And I've finished her hair and all of her skin up to the top of her dress. Any gaps that you see there are beads. I've done all the back stitching that I can do. And so now that was my goal for this spring. So I don't know if I'll be working on her again this season until next spring, but I really enjoyed working on her. The only substitution I've made, the pattern calls for 5282 in DMC, which is a metallic DMC thread. I've changed that to a chronic, and I will put the number here because I can't remember what number it is. But you can see there's a little bit of chronic in her hair, just up here, and the necklace back stitching, that's in chronic as well. So there's no chronic called for in this pattern, but I have substituted the DMC metallic for chronic. So yeah, she's so pretty with that. I love all the leaves in her hair, that's beautiful. And she's gonna have a massive beaded earring in that gap there. a necklace that's all beaded here, or a pendant, sorry. The necklace is done, but the pendant needs to go in there. And there's part of her dress, like that's, I don't know if you can see that, but there's beads will go there. So yeah, what's really fun is I'm doing this as a stitch along with Aussie stitcher Belinda. Hi Belinda. And she starts in the middle, so it's really fun to see how her stitches up from the middle, and I always start at the top. So we always have different parts of our Mirabilias done, but we're doing 4 together. So each one was started at the start of the season in Australia. So this one was started at the beginning of September for the first day of spring in Australia. And all the others have been started. I'm not really sure about the one I'm stitching for Winter Queen. I'm not sure about the fabric, but the other 2 are have about the same progress as this one. So yeah, it's really fun. And now for a little bit of haul. I found Venetian Opulence by Mirabilia on a Facebook stash unload site. So I bought her. I really wanted this one for my collection. I actually thought I had her, but I didn't. So she's now there. And I read on Facebook that this one had gone out of print, so I quickly went on eBay and found one at a reasonable price and bought it. This is Angel of the New Dawn. It's number 65 and now is out of print. And I also received my 4th in the Songbirds Garden series. This one is called Promise of Spring, and it's an American robin with tulips. Now, an update on Lady Mirabilia. I actually received a packing notice or a shipping notice. It has been shipped from Colour Cascade Fabrics in Western Australia. It's currently in the Perth post office, and so it needs to make its way to Sydney and to my house. I will be closely following the path that it takes and checking to make sure that it doesn't get lost anywhere, but I'm hoping to have it by this time next week. And then from there I will do a Mirabilia parade. Now that Mirabilia parade has been a long time coming, so I'm hoping that it's going to live up to its kind of hype that I've created, because I've taken so long to actually get around to doing it. I did really want Lady Mirabilia to be part of that parade, so that's why I've waited so long to film it. Whether I film it on the next Sunday or the following Wednesday, we'll just see how our timing works out. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to having that in my hot little hands. And I want to start it, I might start it at the end of this year. I'm thinking it's going to be a birthday start, because I really want to work on that one. So, and my birthday's in December, so. Okay, now I'm just going to go through plans. My plans are going to be sketchy from now on. I don't want to kind of hold myself to anything. The only thing I really want to hold myself to is the Prairie Schooler alphabet and finishing that by the end of next year. Everything else is just going to happen whenever. But sketchy plans for the month, for the rest of this month. I want to finish the L block of the Prairie Schooler alphabet. I want to finish the current page that I'm working on Storykeep Secret Door. I want to do a little bit more work on Boy King by Janlynn. And on the 31st of October, I will be starting Andromeda. And I'm doing this as a sell with Terry from what used to be called Rabbit Trail Stitches, I think. I'm not sure if she's still on YouTube with that name. I think she changed that name, but if I can find a link to her channel, I will. I'll put it down below. But my current thoughts is that I will be stitching it on this fabric, Summer Sky, It's a Jobelin. It's a 32 count Jobelin by Witcher, I believe. I don't know if it's too pale. I don't know if it would look better on a darker fabric. I've done a floss toss and most of the colours are going to look okay on it. The only thing I'm worried about is that this colour here is probably too close to this. So if I wanted a closer colour, I'd want it to be kind of in the middle rather than on the outside because you wouldn't see it. But so yeah, there's still a little bit of thought to go on that one, but it's all kitted up, ready to go. I've got plenty of fabric, so if that one doesn't work, I've got a lot of others to choose from. And then I finished 2 books this month. The first one was How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. That one, I saw that originally on Ann P's channel. She has a great channel where she talks about knitting, cross-stitch, spinning, and books. And one of the books she was reading was How to Stop Time, and she had been enjoying it. I found it at my library and I started reading it and finished it within a week. I loved it. It was about a man who has a rare condition where he only ages 1 year for every 15 years that he's alive. And so he was born in the 16th century, I think, 15th or 16th centuries. And he's still alive in the present day. And he's only about, he looks like he's only in his 40s. So he's lived through a lot of history events, and it just highlights how we don't learn from history, how we continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. And his thoughts are, if people don't live through these mistakes of the past, they tend to make them again for themselves. And yeah, it's well worth the read. I also picked up The House Across the Street by Lesley Pearse. This is about a young woman who lives in England in the 1960s. She still lives at home with her parents because she's unmarried and it's the 60s. And she was doing her ironing one day in the upstairs room. She looks across the street and some strangers turn up to a friend's house. And she notices that this happens a lot, where the same car pulls up, the same lady, elderly lady, gets out, but always has another lady with her. And she kind of sets out to see what that's all about. But while she's sort of trying to work out why that's happening, she wakes up one night and the house across the street is on fire. And so it's about what happens after that. So it's a good read. My only thing was that I've been spoiled. The last 3 books that I've read have been excellent books. I have read The Hotel Sacher, which I absolutely loved. The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which was, I wouldn't say enjoyable, but a really good read. And the How to Stop Time, which I've just finished, that was also excellent. This is a good book, but it wasn't as good as those 3. So it was, after those 3, I kind of felt a little bit let down, but really not the book's fault. It just wasn't as good as the last 3 that I had read. So it's rare for me to find 3 really good books in a row. But yeah, so I had been spoiled. Yeah. But this is also a good read. I believe it was only published this year. Yeah, first published in 2018. So yeah, I'm not reading anything at the moment. Well, I had started a book. I've only read a couple of sentences though, so I need to get back to that. That's all I have for you. I don't know whether, I think the next video that I do will be the Mirabilia parade, and then I'll have an update after that. So I will either see you in a week from now or the following Wednesday after that. So I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to upload this video. I don't know, because my husband and daughter will return soon, I don't know whether it's going to be later today or I'll have to leave it loading overnight, which is usually the case when I film on Sundays. So you'll probably see this tomorrow. Anyway, that's all I've got. I hope everyone has a really good 2 weeks, and happy stitching, and I'll see you soon. Bye everyone.